What's going on, everybody? My name's Franco, and today I'm starting off what is number one of my edition of previewing every single fantasy season for every single NFL team. I'm going to be doing one of these a day for each team. If you like the content, please feel free to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will hopefully get to your team as soon as possible. But today, we're starting off with the New York Jets, a very high upside team, a very young team that should be a lot of fun to watch this upcoming season. And it all starts with Zach Wilson, who right now is ranked QB 22. Very low ADP of around 170, so in most redraft leagues, he's not going to be rostered unless it's a super flex league. He has more weapons now than he'll ever have at any point. That's just not true. What's going on, everybody? My name's Franco, and today I'm going to be starting my series where I go over the fantasy outlooks for each individual NFL team. I'm going to start off with the New York Jets. I'm going to be doing one team a day. So if you like the content, please feel free to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will hopefully get to your team as soon as possible. But today, with the Jets, we're going to be starting off here, and it all starts with Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson is coming in at the QB 22 off of Fantasy Pros. At that ADP, he's most likely going undrafted in all redraft leagues unless you're in a Superflex league. This is way more weapons than he had last year, and he's just a very good upside runner as well. He's got a great arm. He's just got everything going for him. However, he just didn't really have a great 2021, which makes it a little bit risky for me. He was fairly injured last season as well. He just doesn't really have the safe floor, but the ceiling is really well worth it. I wouldn't draft him personally in a 12-team or even a 14-team league with one QB, but in a Superflex league, I would really like to give him a look as maybe like a third or fourth option coming off of your bench. Running back wise, the Jets have Breece Hall and Michael Carter lining up for them this season, and I really love the Breece Hall addition for this team, both from a real perspective and a fantasy perspective. In fantasy, I could easily see Breece Hall being one of the top 10, top 15 running backs by the time the year's up. He was a workhorse running back out of Iowa State, and he's going to have a great opportunity to take over and just lead the team in carries, targets, all the essential things you need a top tier fantasy running back to do. He was a workhorse running back. He was a great pass catching back as well. He's really just got a great build and great everything going for him. However, these guys do have the issue of potentially running into a committee. That being said, I think Breece Hall is just a better player than Michael Carter, both in terms of just talent, everything. So I think by the time maybe week 4 or week 5 rolls around, he should have complete control of that backfield. And then Michael Carter himself, he was not too shabby in 2021, posting over 4 yards per carry. He was also very good in the passing game as well, and the offense definitely took a hit when he wasn't on the field. That being said, I don't really see the upside being as high. So, I love Breece Hall this year. I definitely like Michael Carter as a good handcuff pick. I think he'll be one of the higher upside handcuffs in the league and might be able to get a little work on his own to make him at least minorly fantasy relevant, but I wouldn't see him starting. I think the ADPs on both of these is fair. I think Breece Hall definitely has potential to end up in the top 15, even top 10 if we're getting really crazy, of running backs this season, but it just remains to be seen how much of the offense he'll end up taking control over. The Jets wide receiver room is interesting as well. They added Garrett Wilson at pick 10 in this year's draft, who was just a great player in college. He was great at separation, great route runner. He also have Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore was kind of like a mini breakout last year. He was insane through the beginning of your season, the middle of your season, where he was the wide receiver 8 overall for a accumulation of 7 weeks with a 25% target rate in that span. And they also have the veteran Corey Davis, who's not even been around that long, but I guess compared to these guys, he's a veteran. He's ranked wide receiver 61, which is very low in my opinion. He's got the big play threat, and he has a 20% plus target share as of last season. Garrett Wilson, I definitely like a lot this year. He definitely has a lot to prove, given being the rookie wide receiver. And obviously, it's up to Zach Wilson to spread the ball evenly amongst these targets. Or maybe not even evenly, just be able to spread the ball well enough amongst these guys and to keep the running game going, etc. I definitely like Wilson and Moore this year. I think you're drafting both of them off the potential of what they could be. And I do think that one of them takes the crown as the better wide receiver or like the ball hog in that offense. I think it might be Elijah Moore, just given the experience and what we've already seen him do. He was more of a explosive player in his time last season before the injury, and I just really think he had a great opportunity here to kind of take over that wide receiver room. But Garrett Wilson's skill is hard to be ignored. I think he's a great pick at his value. He's going about 30 picks later than Elijah Moore, and he could be just as good as him, if not better. That being said, I'm going to mostly stay away from Corey Davis this year. I know it's a contract year for him, basically, and all that, but I don't know if he's going to require the necessary attention that it would be worth it. Even drafting him this late, maybe if you get him at this ADP, that'd be fine, but that 15% drop rate last season does scare me, and while he did have a pretty solid target share, I'm not exactly thrilled with the idea of taking a wide receiver 3 and an offense led by a second-year quarterback. It's just not something I really would want to do. And there are some late round flyers I would take at that range who might have a little bit higher upside than Corey Davis would on a consistent week-to-week basis. Tight end wise, I'm going to stay away from the Jets tight end room this year. They did sign CJ Uzoma, who I think will be a great addition for them. I think will open up the middle of the field pretty nicely and will be a great route runner. And I think he's going to be really solid for them in the way that he was solid for the Bengals, where he was, not flashy, not spectacular, but he was just a good player. I think it'll be good for them. However, there's just way too many weapons on this Jets offense, and they also went out and got Tyler Conklin from the Minnesota Vikings, who will eat into the amount of routes that CJ Uzoma runs, and just everything in general will really just kind of not be in his favor, given he's, like I said, with Corey Davis, he's competing with a bunch of younger players, a bunch of faster players for targets, and I can usually see CJ Uzoma having a couple weeks where he's just fantastic, but overall I wouldn't really go near him. There are a lot better tight ends, although that being said, now that I look at it, tight end 31 is really low for him. I think he could be a top 25 tight end, but Tyler Conklin definitely scares me off, and Zach Wilson, I don't know if I trust him enough to really get him the necessary touches. Defense and kicking wise, I would personally stay away from either of these. The Jets defense is definitely very improved this year. They went out and got some good free agent acquisitions, as well as drafting Sauce Gardner with the 4th overall pick and Jermaine Johnson in the late first round as well. This is a very improved defense, and I think they'll be good. I just don't think they'll be consistently good on the fantasy basis. And their division is sneakily tough as well. I mean, obviously you have the Buffalo Bills playing 2 games, but you also have the Miami Dolphins, who have some increased playmakers. Mac Jones in his 2nd year with the Patriots. It's just not something I look forward to in that offense. And Greg Zuerlein, Greg the Leg, I would also not really draft him this year as well. Mostly when I look at kickers, I base them off of 2 things: what they did last year, as well as the team they're on. If the offense sputters with the Jets, which we don't know if they will or not, Zuerlein will kind of falter out as well. And he just had a bit of a down year last year as well, so I'm not really sure that I want to go for him. I would rather take another kicker instead. Overall, this Jets team really has one of the higher ceilings in the NFL. I don't see them having like a really bad year unless Zach Wilson is injured or plays terribly. So quite frankly, the offense starts and ends with him. If he's able to produce and he's able to be, live up to the billing of the 2nd overall pick, which he was a year ago, I think this Jets offense takes off both in fantasy purpose and just regular NFL purposes. I love Breece Hall's value this year. I like taking a chance on a rookie running back who has the potential to win the backfields and just be a high pass catching, but also just a heavy down, heavy snap count offensive player. I think he's got a great chance to really carve out a nice role in this offense. Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are definitely 2 that will be a little riskier given the each one in the backfield. If they didn't draft Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore would be flying off the boards. But having the opportunity to have both of them, or even just one of them on your team, would be a nice upside pick late in drafts. Michael Carter, one of the better handcuffs in the league, and like I said, Zach Wilson, definitely take a flyer on him in some super flex leagues if you can. I think he has a great potential to really be a breakout candidate this season. Corey Davis, I'm staying away from, as well as CJ Uzoma, and then the defense and the kicker. I'm going to just steer clear of those guys for now and just stick with the bigger playmakers in that offense. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm going to be doing one for every single team. I really do like this Jets offense this year, and I would be happy to have most of them on my fantasy team. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time.